alignment begins moving before you even notice it. When the word alignment draws your attention, most people are already sensing something. Even without certainty, the way they live and feel has begun to shift, just slightly. A quiet change, often hard to name. Alignment isn't a place you reach through effort. It's a state you often realize you've already touched. Yet many people overlook it because the change doesn't feel dramatic or special at first. In this video, we'll explore several signs that may suggest you're already in alignment. Receive them lightly, as you would a simple checklist. You don't need to relate to every sign. If even one makes you think, yes, that feels familiar, that alone is enough. It's a sign that alignment has already begun to settle in. Hold your current sense gently, just as it is, and let's move on to the next sign. Sign 1. The flow continues without pushing. When you're in alignment, it's not the amount you do that changes, but the quality of how you move. You no longer need to push yourself forward, yet daily life keeps unfolding. That subtle sense begins to appear. Even without major achievements, nothing feels stuck. Your hands naturally move toward what needs to be done. At just the right timing, the next task or conversation arrives. Without forcing structure, the flow remains thin but steady. In this state, you don't feel drained. Even when busy, your breathing stays intact somewhere inside. What remains after action isn't exhaustion, but a quiet sense that things are truly moving. Alignment rarely shows up as sudden acceleration. It appears as a feeling that doesn't require pushing to continue. If lately your days feel connected even without effort, this may be one sign that alignment is already at work. Sign 2. You know before overthinking. When you're in alignment, the way you make decisions begins to change. Before your mind searches for answers, a simple sense of "this isn't it" often arises first. What once required gathering information, comparing options, and organizing reasons now settles in a single moment. This knowing isn't impulsive. It's quiet, grounded, and steady. You don't need confidence when making the choice. What matters is that afterward, your mind isn't restless. Even without explanation, nothing feels forced. In alignment, the need to choose the right answer fades, while the ability to sense what fits naturally comes forward. If you're spending less time stuck in thought and more time resting in calm after choosing, this too is an important sign you're already in alignment. Sign 3. Emotions move without taking you over. Being in alignment doesn't mean emotions disappear. You still feel joy when joy comes and sadness when it arrives. The difference is that you're no longer swept away as easily. When emotions rise, before analyzing or blaming yourself, you can notice, "This is how I feel right now," from a step back. This gentle distance begins to grow. As alignment deepens, the urge to control emotions weakens. Instead, you learn to wait as they pass through. They don't need fixing. They don't need turning positive. By simply feeling and breathing, you return to your center. If even after emotional waves you still sense yourself intact, that's a sign your inner balance is already stabilizing. Alignment isn't the absence of emotion. It's the ability to remain yourself while emotions exist. Sign 4. your relationships quietly rebalance. When you're in alignment, your experience of relationships begins to shift gently. Without pushing people away or cutting ties, distance naturally settles where it feels right. Connections that once felt draining now reveal their healthy range. Some relationships feel calm without needing depth. Others invite honesty without effort. Relationships begin adjusting through feeling rather than force. In alignment, how you are while relating matters more than how you're perceived. Because of this, distance often changes quietly, without explanations or justifications. If your relationships are shifting without conflict or drama, this may be alignment rearranging your surroundings. Not breaking bonds, but gently repositioning them. That too is a sign. Sign 5, thinking about the future feels less urgent. When you're in alignment, your relationship with the future changes. Goals don't disappear, and planning doesn't stop. But the moment you look ahead, your chest no longer tightens the way it once did. Thoughts like, "I need to decide soon," or "what if I'm too late," may still appear, but they no longer pull you forward. You can return to your present sense. The future begins to feel like a continuation, not a source of pressure. In alignment, what matters most isn't what will happen next, but whether you feel aligned right now. Without imagining outcomes, simply resting here often feels sufficient. If thinking about the future no longer shortens your breath, and somewhere inside you sense that things are okay, this is alignment, bringing reassurance ahead of time. Not rushing, yet still moving within the flow. That feeling itself is a very real sign. Final message: you are already in alignment. As you listened, you may have recognized one or more of these signs. If even one made you think, "This might be me," that's enough. Alignment isn't something to measure or achieve. It isn't judged by comparison. The quiet guide is simply this: do you feel a little lighter, a little more honest, a little less strained than before? Nothing needs to be perfect. Uncertainty can still exist. Yet if it's become easier to return to yourself, you're already moving within alignment. If this video helped you remember that you're not behind, but already here, that recognition is natural. Alignment isn't found far away. The moment you notice it, it's already beneath your feet. I am Realia. The small changes you're sensing may be signs that you're already in alignment. If this video helped you trust your current inner sense, I'm truly glad. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider liking the video and subscribing. And if any of these signs stayed with you, feel free to share in the comments. I'll see you again in the next video.